Welcome back to another class of keyboard special keys. In the previous classes, we have learned about few keys present on the keyboard, like the alphabet keys and the number keys. You also learned about the spacebar and the caps lock key. So today we will learn about few more keys present on the keyboard. But before we move on to the new keys, let's have a quick recap for the spacebar and the caps lock key. There is only one spacebar on the keyboard. It is the longest key of the keyboard. It is present in the bottom row. So as you all know that spacebar is the longest key of the keyboard, it is present at the bottom row in the center. This key is used to give spaces between words, letters or numbers. So this is the function of the spacebar. When we are typing and when we want to give spaces between the words or the numbers, we use the spacebar key. And this is how the spacebar key looks like on the keyboard. The next was the caps lock key. There is only one caps lock key on the keyboard. This key is used to write in capital letters. So this is the function of the caps lock key, that we use this key to write in capital letters. It is used as a switch. Switch it on to write in capital and switch off to write in lowercase. And this is how the caps lock key looks like on the keyboard. This is present on the left side of the keyboard, and usually caps lock is written on this key. Now let's learn. So what is the first new key for today's class? It's the enter key. There are two enter keys on a keyboard. So we had one space bar, we had one caps lock key, but we have two enter keys present on the keyboard. It is used to move the cursor to a new or the next line. So the enter key is used to move the cursor from one line to the next line. It is also used as a command key for specific functions. So there are some specific functions that can be performed using the enter key. Sometimes we have to select one thing, click on OK, and we press the enter key and the function is executed. It has a symbol like an arrow. So this is the symbol of the enter key. In some of the keyboards you will not find enter written on the key. You will just find the symbol printed on the key. So if this is my keyboard, here is the first enter key which has the symbol on it. It is with the alphabet keys, and the next enter key on the keyboard is with the numeric keypad, and enter is written on this key. Let's learn about the next key. The arrow keys. There are 4 arrow keys on a keyboard. So we had 2 enter keys and we have 4 arrow keys on a keyboard. Now why do we have 4 arrow keys? We will learn it. They are used to move the cursor on the screen. The cursor can be moved in all the directions, up, down, left and right. So that is why we have 4 arrow keys, because we have 4 directions in which you can move the cursor on the screen while you are doing some work. And to move the cursor in all the different directions, we have different arrow keys present on the keyboard. These keys are also known as control keys, as they control the cursor. So the arrow keys are also known as the control keys. Why? Because they control the cursor by moving it into different directions. Up arrow key used to move the cursor up. So you have the first arrow key, it has an arrow which is pointing towards up and it moves the cursor up. The next arrow key is the down arrow key used to move the cursor down. So this key has an arrow which is pointing towards down and it moves the cursor down on the screen. Right arrow key used to move the cursor to the right. So you have another arrow key. The arrow on this key is pointing towards the right because it moves the cursor to the right direction. Left arrow key used to move the cursor to the left. So you have the last arrow key and it has an arrow which is pointing towards the left side because it moves the cursor to the left side. So if this is my keyboard, here are the 4 arrow keys pointing towards all the 4 directions and they are present between the alphabet keys and the numeric keypad. The next key is the backspace key. There is only one backspace key on the keyboard. It has a symbol like an arrow which is pointing towards the left side. This key is used to erase the letters or numbers to the left side of the cursor. So before I explain it to you, let me ask you a question. That when you are working in your notebook and you are writing using a pencil and you make a mistake, what do you do? Yes, when you're writing with a pencil and you make a mistake, what do you do? Let me answer it. You have an eraser, you erase the mistake and then you do the correction, isn't it? So similarly, when you are typing on a computer and you make a mistake and you want to erase your mistake to do the correction, backspace key can help you erase any letter, number which is present towards the left side of the cursor. And once you erase it using the backspace key, you can do the correction. If this is my keyboard, here is the backspace key with an arrow on it. Can you see the symbol on it? In some keyboard you will have the symbol and in some keyboards backspace is written on the key. Is the delete key. There is only one delete key on the keyboard. So unlike the backspace key, we have only one delete key present on the keyboard. This key is used to erase the letters or numbers to the right side of the cursor. So the purpose of the delete key and the backspace key is quite similar. Both the keys are used to erase your mistakes. But what is the difference? The backspace key is used to erase something which is written towards the left side of the cursor. But if you want to erase anything which is towards the right side of the cursor, then you will use the delete key. So this is a big difference between the backspace key and the delete key. So this is my keyboard. Here is my delete key and delete is written on the key. Understand the function of the enter keys and the arrow keys, the backspace key and the delete key. And you also understand what is the difference between the delete key and the backspace key. So till we meet next, keep learning and thank you for watching this video.